Perry Klebon talked about a common problem with using design thinking in the Stanford webinar. People don't want to use a method they don't know much about. Companies may miss out on chances to find new ways to do things because of this reluctance. Emphasize is the part of the design thinking process that I think is most different from other ways of coming up with ideas. In the emphasize step, you really need to understand what the customers or end users want, need, and are having trouble with. Emphasize requires putting yourself in a user's shoes to see things that might not be clear at first. This is different from traditional brainstorming sessions, where people come up with ideas based on assumptions or their own points of view. In this step, you will learn to understand the target group better through interviews, observations, and other activities. There are 4 problems that can go wrong during the emphasize step of the design thought process. First, talking to users directly takes a lot of time and effort, especially if the users are from different backgrounds or in different parts of the world. It can also be hard and subjective to understand and put together qualitative data gathered during the emphasized phrase, which can lead to confusion or wrong assumptions about what users need. There is also a chance that bias will affect how users' experiences are interpreted, which could lead to solutions that don't really meet the needs of the target audience. Lastly, stakeholders may not see the instant benefit of spending time on activities that build empathy, especially if they're used to solving problems in a more concrete or numerical way. Even with these problems, the emphasized phrase has some benefits over other ways of coming up with ideas. This phrase sets the stage for more targeted and useful solution development by putting an emphasis on learning users' points of view and experiences. By finding unmet needs and pain points, businesses can make goods and services that really connect with their target audience. This makes customers happier and more loyal. Spending time at the beginning to understand what users are going through can also save time and money in the long run by lowering the chance of creating solutions that don't work or need a lot of changes. Iterative prototyping is an important part of the design thinking process because it lets you test your ideas and get real-world data through tests and trials of your products. One of the best things about iterative prototyping is that it makes learning and changing things quickly possible. By making and testing prototypes quickly, teams can get feedback early and often, which helps them find problems or ways to make things better before committing to a final answer. This iterative method encourages a mindset of trying new things and being creative, where mistakes are seen as chances to learn and get better. But there are some problems with iterative prototyping as well. Another problem is the chance of wasting time and money on making prototypes that don't work or aren't useful in the end. The process also goes back and forth, which can make people tired of making choices or lose their focus, especially if there isn't a way to prioritize feedback and make decisions. Also, iterating too fast without early thought and analysis can lead to small or superficial changes instead of bigger, more transformative ideas. An iterative prototyping process can be helpful in many fields, but it may be especially useful in fields that value innovation and flexibility. For instance, in the tech and software industries where product cycles are short and competition is high, iterative prototyping lets businesses quickly test new ideas and adapt to changing market needs. In the same way, iterative prototyping is a structured way to try and validate new ideas before they're fully implemented in fields where failure can have big effects, like healthcare or auto manufacturing. When deciding whether to use iterative prototyping to find solutions to specific design products or look at past research to create a new product, the answer relies on the project's context and goals. Iterative prototyping may be a better way to get first-hand data in some situations, especially when dealing with new or complicated problems. Teams can learn things that existing research or market data might not show by putting ideas to the test in the real world and getting direct feedback from users.